I'm ready now.
We will reconvene the evening session of the Nelson County Board of Supervisors, and we will start off with public comments. And we have Jerry Lloyd signed up. Just a reminder, you have 3 minutes to speak, and please state your name and address for the record.
There's no one else.
Yeah, you're the only one.
No, I just want to hear some things first.
Public hearing.
She may think she's.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. This is public comments. We'll have a public hearing opening up next for the ordinances coming up.
Actually, I do have a comment. Jerry Lloyd, 9322 Rockfish Valley Highway. What's happening with that thing on Route 6 that Shemp started and hasn't done diddly squat on it for over a year? Isn't there a year limit on working on something that has had an SUP? I thought he had a limit of a year if he didn't do anything.
Typically, there is a year unless the board has granted a conditional extension.
That's
And I'm not sure if
that's a planning and zoning question, but we don't interact with the public directly during public comments.
Oh, well, okay, but it's like, okay, I'll get on with it.
Anybody else want to speak during public comments not related to the public hearing for the ordinance we'll be discussing? If not, we will close public comments. Thank you. And we will open the public hearing for ordinance 2023-08, amendment to Chapter 11, Taxation, Article 1, Section 11-5.1, exemption for volunteer fire and rescue members. Ms. McGarry?
All right, as Chair Parr said, we are here to consider or have a public hearing on proposed amendment to Chapter 11 Taxation, Article 1 exemption for volunteer fire and rescue squad members. So pursuant to State Code 15.2-1427, adoption of ordinances and resolutions generally, amending or repealing ordinances, the Board of Supervisors authorized the public hearing tonight on this proposed county amendment. On December 12, 2023, the adoption of Resolution 2023-78. Public hearing notice was published in the December 28, 23 and January 4th, 24 editions of the Nelson County Times in compliance with State Code Section 15.2-1427. Title 58.1, Taxation, Subtitle 3, Local Taxes, Chapter 35, on tangible personal property, machinery and tools, and merchants' capital, gives the county its authority to deal with personal property tax. Article 1, Tangible Personal Property, Section 3506, on other classifications of tangible personal property, specifically 58.1, 3506A15, speaks to separate classifications of motor vehicles owned or leased by qualifying volunteer fire and rescue personnel. 58.1, 3506B provides that the governing body of any county may levy a personal property tax at a different rate of tax and rate of assessment from the tax levied on other tangible personal property, but not exceeding that applicable to the general class of tangible personal property. Our current ordinance as of 1993 provides in section 11-5.1 the exemptions for volunteer fire and rescue squad members as follows. Members of the Nelson County Volunteer Fire Department and Rescue Squad shall be exempted from paying taxes on the first $5,000 of assessed value on their personal property tax bill. The chief or captain of each squad department shall provide to the Commissioner of Revenue by June 1st of each year a certified list of all members who are eligible for the exemption during that year. Qualifying volunteers must have completed 100 hours of volunteer activities during the preceding 12 months. Our proposed ordinance 2023-08 proposes to strike the text in red, exempted from paying taxes on the first $5,000 of assessed value, and change it to they will be granted a credit of up to $300 on their personal property tax bill. That would be the only proposed change in this ordinance. The fiscal impact of the proposed change for the 2024 tax bill year. The value of 2023 personal property tax relief for fire and rescue volunteers is currently estimated at $28,942. We previously reported this amount at $67,301. However, that included disabled veteran tax relief of approximately $38,359. So the amount associated with the tax relief for fire and rescue volunteers is the $28,942 currently. 5,000 in assessed value is equivalent to $139.50 in tax relief per exemption, and that is for approximately 207 eligible fire and rescue volunteers. Value of the proposed 2024 personal property tax relief for fire and rescue volunteers would be an estimated maximum of $62,100 for approximately 207 eligible volunteers. This is computed by taking the up to $300 in tax relief per exemption multiplied by the 207, gives you the $62,100. Just for other information, volunteer fire and rescue members do receive some other relief. They get an exemption of the motor vehicle license fee for one vehicle as follows. And this is in the vehicle license fee exemptions, Chapter 7, Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Article 2, Local License Fee, Section 7-30. Value of 2023 vehicle license fee is $38.75 per automobile, $18 per motorcycle. So the current value of that relief in 2023 is about $8,910. And let's see. The total 2023 personal property tax relief and the vehicle license fee provided would be a total of $37,852. The proposed 24 personal property tax and vehicle license fee relief using the 2023 data amounts to approximately $71,010. This is also informational, other area exemptions and incentives for volunteer fire and rescue squad members. Here it shows some other surrounding localities and what they're doing, which I believe you all have seen before. So next steps would be to conduct a public hearing to receive citizen input on the proposed ordinance amendment O 2023-08, and then obtain any input from staff if desired. Consider adoption of this ordinance. It would be effective January 1, 2024 for the 2024 tax year. You could adopt it as presented or amended, or you could choose to take action at a later date. That's my presentation. Do you have any questions before the public?
Anybody have questions for Ms. McGarry?
We have some discussion, but maybe after the public hearing.
We can do that. Let's go ahead and open the public hearing. We don't have anyone signed up to speak, but does anyone care to speak?
Don't run.
I think it sounds like a great idea. These people work hard. And on a day like today, when I was coming back from Charlottesville, there was a big, huge accident, and they were, the one on Seminole Trail, they were standing out in this stupid rain. Actually, it's wonderful, but I think it's excellent. Something that we as the county can give back to them, because it's all volunteer.
Thank you.
Philip Purvis, 509 Megan Lane, Shipman, Virginia. I think it's almost a no-brainer. These guys and gals need all the help they can get. I support this and whatever else we can do to help them. I mean, with the volunteer fire and rescue, which we got some paid rescue, but these guys deserve a lot of credit. And I'm all in favor of doing whatever we can to support these guys and all their efforts and putting their life on the line for free.
Thank you. Anybody else? If not, we will close the public hearing. All right, questions for staff?
No, I think I like the idea that Ligon had, Jessica, Miss Ligon, sorry, I'll get there. Dr. Ligon brought up earlier today about studying on what this means for volunteers who don't live in Nelson. One of the thoughts that I had on my drive here was maybe it would be appropriate to send you and staff to the council to figure out what that could look like if it is just a $300 voucher of sorts, 100 hours, and you actually literally get a $300 check as opposed to an incentive. And maybe that is the answer, really, is it's just a $300 check. The 100-hour piece, I guess that's a good solid number. I am kind of curious how they define that number, if that's just a chief saying, yeah, he's definitely done 100 hours, or if that's well documented, if it's an honor system kind of sorts. But, regardless, I think those individuals need to be looked for. As you mentioned, that there's plenty of people in Amherst who are working in Nelson, so that's a big deal. And there are volunteers in Albemarle who work in Faber, so it's the same kind of concept there.
I believe there's great records when they show up to calls who's there. So sure it can, I don't love the honor system in this department, but I think there is sufficient records to make sure 100 hours is achieved.
I just wasn't sure how, if that's, I don't know how Gladstone, Piney River, or how Albemarle does it or whatever. If we have any input, or we just find out who did it. I'm just curious.
I'm not in favor of direct cash payments to anybody from the county unless it's something that is really, this seems like, in a quest to try to be equitable, which is certainly a noble effort. But I don't think direct cash payments are the answer. The amendment as stated, I think, is really solid because it does give a little bit higher level of compensation to the people, which I think is really, the volunteers, which I think is great. I can't get my head wrapped around giving direct payments to people for services that aren't contracted services, if that makes sense.
So, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to chime in. I think we're all in agreement that we want to figure something out for the out-of-county volunteers that we have. I don't want us to muddy the water on ordinance 2023-08. Tonight, we're talking about this ordinance and what we can do. I think it's prudent for us to, like you said, meet with the Emergency Services Council, have that conversation with staff, brainstorm ideas. We all want to get to that point. Tonight, we need to focus on this, and I think we need to direct staff, and I'll volunteer since I'm on Emergency Services Council, and see what we can work out with them, and come back and report what we come up with. But I don't want us to side rail this conversation about this ordinance tonight.
Sure.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that another option might be to, if you want to consider adopting the ordinance as is, and then direct us to look at how to implement.
There's nothing wrong with that.
A non-resident volunteer incentive.
Absolutely. Yeah. Is that all right with everybody?
I think that makes sense. We could at least get something in place and then get it. It's going to take a couple months anyway.
Right. Question, the 207 eligible fire and rescue volunteers. Where's that number come from? Is that just the
Commissioner
number?
Revenue's office.
And do we know?
From the certified registers of volunteers, because the chiefs have to certify their.
So those are the actual certified 100 hours? Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Yes.
Wow.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
200.
Yeah.
How many is in Piney River?
Well,
Actively serving.
exactly,
That-
like 7.
There's a massive group, but there's a very small
I
group
mean,
that
there's
does all the
probably
work.
30 or more that
Yeah.
are, that have pagers,
Gotcha.
but there's probably 7
That actually
that
respond.
consistently day in and day out show up. But yeah, that is something that we definitely want to have a conversation with the decision makers in those departments and make sure that they are verifying, which, like Dr. Ligon said, it's pretty easy to verify. there's reports on every call, who's there, you know, what took place. So,
Well, and it does say hours of volunteer activities
True.
as well, so that could be.
And
a
it could be,
little broader.
I mean, and there's a lot of work that goes on, you know, changing the oil or washing trucks or
Oh, yeah.
driving in the parade or whatever. They're doing community activity. So, anyway, I trust them to verify those hours. Any other questions?
Yeah, we don't have to take any action today, do we?
No, you don't have to.
It's up to you, Mr. Chair, we can.
Is there anybody who does not want to take action on this tonight? Any reason not to? I mean,
We can
I
take
think we all
action.
have
And then
the
just-
same feeling on this, and the other, for out of county, I think it would either be an amendment onto this, which could easily be added, or it would be a separate standalone. I don't know, we can figure
Yeah,
that
once you
out.
adopt this ordinance, I believe you would have to go back through the public hearing process to amend it further to include the non-resident incentives.
To be just separate it.
It's just,
Well, that'll be fine.
I think we should just go ahead and take care of this
All right.
personally. Any objection? I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we pass resolution R 2023-78.
I second it.
oh wait, sorry.
Oh, it's a se-
2308.
That's
You looking at the wrong, that's a resolution.
Oops, my bad. Where am I at? Where am I? Ordinance, thank you. R 2023-08.
I'll second that.
We have,
I apologize, but may I clarify that the effective date is January 1, 2024? Because it's a blank on this
Oh.
ordinance. So.
yeah,
Sure.
thank you. I know it's in the PowerPoint presentation this January.
All right. Yes, that's where I amend my motion.
As amended? Yep. Still a second?
Second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, we'll have a roll call vote. Amanda?
Yes.
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 Thank you very much.
Yep. And we'll get with, you and I will get with Danny and talk to Emergency Services Council and get some ideas.
Sounds good.
So do we set a time to circle back with that information, or we just wait?
I mean, our goal will be
Next
to
month.
circle back next month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the expectation.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Any other business? Anybody?
None
Anything?
from staff.
All right.
Anybody up here?
Mr. Chair, I move that we adjourn this meeting.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Contentious.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Roll, yeah, let's just do a vote by acclamation. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. We are adjourned. Thank you all.
That's fair.
Have you ever had a shorter